Let's see. In 2011, we're really excited about some of the adventure learning vacations that are going on. Those programs we've been doing for a number of years. We've made what I think is a really good change to the programs. What I've learned from talking to resort and business owners in town is that the nature of vacations up to Ely have changed over the past number of years. That it used to be the week-long visitor. You know, you check in on Sunday and you check out that next Saturday, and you were here the entire week and you were exploring. What I think is true, and what I've heard from a lot of people, is that now you get the 4-day visitor. You get Sunday to Wednesday, or Wednesday to Saturday, or that sort of thing. And so we've changed our learning vacations to be day programs. And we think this will not only drive our visitorship and our program participants, but it'll actually impact people and have people interact more with Ely area businesses and get to experience other opportunities as well. Because I know as a parent, if I go to a place and I have 4 days, I don't just want to do one thing, I want to do everything. And even though it'd be great to have all that time, you know, most people who come up here, when they come to the Wolf Center, they want to go to Piragis, right? They want to go to Dairy Queen, and they want to go to the Bear Center, and they want to go out and explore out in the woods. They want to do all that stuff, and they want to do it in 48 hours, right? And we know that that's not possible, but by changing some of our programs to day programs, basically going from 9 in the morning till about 9 or 10 at night, that allows them to come in. They can stay at the center if they choose to, or they can find their own accommodations, and then they can do all those other things that they want to do. So we're really excited about that change, and we're going to see how it goes. We also have a trip planned to Yellowstone, September 22nd through 26th next year. Extremely excited about that. That's a rotating trip that we do every other year. And then we also have an Isle Royal trip. Looks like it's going to happen August 3rd to August 13th. So it's about 10 days. That's going to be backpacking intensive, but you're really going to have the opportunity to get out and see some of the wolf-moose interactions on the island. We're also working with Rhodes Scholars, also known as Elder Hostel 2 years ago, and it's changed a couple times in between here and there. But we have 3 Rhodes Scholar programs that we're excited about. Yes?
I'm sorry, when was the island?
September 3rd, August 3rd through August 13th.
And then the Yellowstone was?
Is September 22nd through the 26th. And the Isle Royal information isn't on our website yet. We were just getting information back from the outfitter that we were working with over in that area. So that should be up in the next week or so.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Registration for all of our programs for 2011, other than that one, are actually already live, and you can register and be all set. The other thing that we're working towards doing is, as a parent of kids in the school system, I realized that release days up here can be a challenge for parents, and that there are some options that are available to the students and parents. But we're going to look at working with some other organizations in town and offering release day camps for kids, and we're going to try and match the school day timing so that they can, their kids can participate in something educational, and the parents can go to work and not have to take a day off if they don't choose to do that. So that's something we're pretty excited about as well. The other parts, we really want to broaden our audience. You know, we're the International Wolf Center, and we believe that we have a good presence nationally and internationally, but we want to make sure that we continue to do that. Our website continues to be something that we're proud of, but something that we want to continue to upgrade and make the information more accessible to people who go to that for up-to-date wolf information. Another thing that I'd encourage you to check out is our YouTube postings. Lori Schmidt is our wolf curator, and many of you know her, I know. And she does weekly postings on YouTube talking about our, so she takes videos of the wolves in the enclosure and talks about their interactions, their behavior, kind of how they're doing, what's going on with them, and then posts that weekly. We also plan to increase our overall presence on YouTube, Facebook, those sorts of things with educational information. So we're really trying to drive conversation and education about wolves in those forums. So that's something that we're going to be working hard at. Again, feel free to ask questions.
You're on YouTube right now.
Yeah, I know. So, the other thing is, I mentioned that our role in the community is really important. You know, depending on who you talk with, opinions vary about how connected to the community the International Wolf Center is. And as the new director, the education director up here, I think it's extremely important that we're well connected with the community and that we're involved in discussions and conversations that go on about wolves, wolf management, but also about overall environmental education that go on here. So we're really taking a number of steps to try and reconnect, if that's the right word, or re-emphasize our connection to the community. One of the things that I feel very strongly about, and I think this lines up with E3's goals, is we want to support local businesses whenever possible. Now granted, we're a nonprofit, it's business decisions. Local businesses are competing not only with businesses, you know, regionally, but competing with internet-based businesses and that sort of thing. So we have to make good business decisions, you know, for our finances, but whenever possible, we want to work with people locally to do that. And I think that's going to be a real key. We also want to make sure that people see us as a resource. We want to make the building more available to organizations to rent or to use. We want to make sure that parents see us as a place to go when their kids are off school, with young kids doing field trips, that the school itself actually sees us as a place to do education, to have educational opportunities. And so as I learn my job and get moving forward, I'm trying to make those connections and really reconnect. And then we want to have more programs for local audiences. I know from living in St. Louis all my life that the Gateway Arch was there. It's only 30 minutes from my house, and unless there was a visitor who came in and I had to go, I would never ever go there because I was tired of it. You know, many of you have supported the Wolf Center, have been great patrons of the Wolf Center, but it's here all the time, and you may not make your way up there. So we want to find ways to engage you all and have you come back into the building on a regular basis. So we're completely open to ideas for that, and want to make that conversation happen.
What are the hours these days?
Well, that goes kind of into wanted to talk about our environmental practices, and just made a decision the other day that we're only going to be open sunlight hours in the winter. So we're going to be open from about 10 to noon in December. Yeah, exactly. Currently our hours are Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. But we're available for group visits or other programming basically any time during the week, any day of the week. So specific programming, and we do have group visits that are scheduled throughout November, December. Yep.
Specifically, what would constitute a group, as in the number of people?
Yep. I think generally, I might be getting this wrong from what our website says, but it's generally 5 to 6 people. We can work with small groups, and we have sort of standardized program and group packages that we can work within. You pick a couple of programs that you want to do, and then we price it based on that. Yep. And one of the things that I don't know that we've gotten the word out about yet, but we're going to be having opportunities for preschool age students where parents can bring them in. We're going to open the facility up, and it's just going to be a warm place to play and explore and be with kids and have some educational opportunities going on. We've done that in the past, but I don't know that we've gotten the word out about it, and we want to definitely do that. And we may do something like that targeted at different age groups throughout sort of that youth spectrum. All right. Thinking about this group being kind of driven by E3, I was looking at some of our environmental practices and what we're looking at to conserve energy and that sort of thing. We are committed to it as an organization. I think one of the challenges of increasing our energy awareness and decreasing our usage is the age of our building. It was built, you know, in '93, and parts of it were much older than that. And so all of our systems aren't completely integrated. It's a DNR-owned building. So if we want to pursue energy efficiency options, we have to work through not only our organizational process, but through a DNR process. And so that's a challenge, but not something that's insurmountable. But then, you know, just the size of the building, the physical size of our space that needs to be heated, needs to be used and accessible to the public are challenges. We have a person that I know who's committed to do an energy audit for us. He does that work for his corporation that he works at, fairly well-known Minnesota large company. And so he's offered to come do that and work with us through that. And then we're going to see what chunks we can bite off and work inside of the parameters that we have. We're also looking at our work practices. So really consistent about all those spaces and all those different energy sources that we're using, making sure that we are not using them when we don't need to be. You know, the simple stuff like turning computer screens off when you turn your computer off over the weekend, you know, that sort of things. And we find lots of little pieces that we can improve on, and we're really trying to work on that. We're also looking at composting when we have group visits, composting the organic waste that they create, and trying to find out how we can do that inside of the short season that we have. And my hunch is there's some expertise on that topic in this community that we can tap into. But we're working towards that. And then I'm just going to stop blaring my music and you know, having 6 computer screens on in my office when I'm in there, you know. That was a joke. All right. Any questions kind of about the organization or where we're at currently or kind of where we're headed? Anything like that?
Well, one thing that we talked about, Jerritt, on the phone a few weeks ago is this joint marketing with the Bear Center, which seems to make sense from a point of view of 2 nonprofits working in the same area and basically the same fields.
Yep.
Are you doing anything there, or is that coming up?
Yep, it sure is. We've submitted a joint grant with the North American Bear Center for the IRR grant for promotion of tourism. We submitted that back in October, and we're waiting to hear about that. And that would fund some joint promotions. And I think it's a great idea. I think you're absolutely right. What I think is really important to remember is that while we have 2 similar organizations in that they're nonprofits and they work with animals, we are independent nonprofit organizations. And so we have our own culture, we have our own missions, and on both sides we have our own philosophies and approaches to working with wildlife that we need to respect and understand. But the conversations I've heard about working with the North American Bear Center I think are great. I just challenge people to remember that it's 2 independent organizations, and just because they're nonprofits, they don't operate differently from businesses in that way. We don't see them necessarily as competition, I wouldn't say that, but we have our own markets. I think they have definitely benefited our visitorship this year. We all know that people have come to visit because of the attention paid to Lily and Hope and other social marketing that they've done. And we know that our visitors often go there, or however you want to say it. People who visit one visit the other, I think is probably the best way to say it, oftentimes.
Do you have school groups coming in from the Duluth area, for instance, by bus? Or?
Yep, we sure do. We have, for our organization, we have school groups coming from Duluth. The Grand Rapids area seems to be a significant area where people, where school groups come. We have consistent visitorship from a college down in Iowa that comes